Oh my God. Guys, I am still very, very emotional. Was so loaded. Was so heartfelt. This is everything. We know the squad. We realized, we know it was bad. But I don't know any one of us realized it was that bad. It was awful. My heart is still breaking, and I know they are on the other side of everything. But oh my God, I don't even know what to say. So I still have my guests here. If you guys have a chance to check my previous podcast show on YouTube, my first show, it was about what it is that they were going to talk about, what it is that they were going to say. At no point that I thought it was going to be that deep, that emotional, that hurt. It's so many hurts. So I can't even speak. So guys, what was your impressions? What was your thoughts?
Well, I think for me, I'm surprised at how much it seems like they actually did share. I thought it seemed like they just kind of really opened up, and that was refreshing, but it was also kind of hard. It was hard to listen to because there was so clearly pain. And I think that was one of the first things that struck me at the beginning of watching it, was that there's the importance of the revelations, that the things that were in the media are lies, right? And I think it's important for the other side of the story, the truth, to be out there. But even more important than some of those kind of truths in some senses is just like the emotional, the human side of it. And watching Meghan, especially, seeing that emotion was it struck me, and especially the sense that there's the truth behind what people see, and like the reality, and just thinking about compassion beyond what you see in the front. That's just kind of the first thing that kind of hit me.
When you think about the first biracial kids being born in the monarchy, knowingly that he or she life will be in danger, and they were not willing even to protect. This is a family that makes millions of dollars every year. I don't understand. Please, you as a biracial man, how did that make you feel to hear that?
Well, that was just simply one element of an overarching theme that I got, which is that it's pretty clear that they just treated her as a second-class citizen, right? I mean, there's many instances of how she was just treated other than.
She was not worth of security.
She wasn't worth a lot of things. Her child wasn't worth a title. She wasn't worth security. She wasn't worth protecting. She wasn't worth training. She wasn't worth the effort, So, I mean, that, like, as I mentioned, there's a whole host of things that how she was treated and obviously regarded within the palace, and by, as you mentioned in the last show, the men in the gray suits, perhaps even some of the family itself, that she was just treated differently and less than, right? So I think it's just a matter of, as you mentioned before, I mean, I certainly have my own share of experience with it. So it's nothing new. It's nothing that was so surprising. It was just really disappointing. And you can just see how it plays out. I mean, I think I think she was quite fortunate that, she had the support of Harry that she did, because otherwise it would have ended quite badly.
For me, it's like to hear her saying that, she wanted to take her life. It was too much. It was too much for me to handle. She was pregnant.
That always hits you when hearing anyone say that, hearing anyone get to that point that they feel like life's not worth living is really hard to hear. and then hearing it from someone who you like kind of feel is someone that is looked up to by so many, and presents that sort of, as she mentioned, presents everything, does her job in terms of seeming to be happy and seeming to do all of these things, but then the dichotomy of what's presented versus how bad it could feel is another thing that's just striking.
For me, is that, you know what, my question for the press, my question for the Brit, I mean, do they have any type of compassion, any love, anything at all? The fact is that, you know, this woman was getting it everywhere. So it wasn't like, you know, well, there's a few of them sort of, you know, like say, well, you know, that's not right. Let's not do that. Let's not sort of, you know, I mean, the damage, even though right now they are doing really well, and I know there's probably going to be a price to be paid. I am so sorry. Because Diana, when she spoke out, 2 years later, she was dead. And something that was really, really frightened me early on, before the interview, was the thing that, you know, they point out. If you can please...
Oh, that headline that someone in the press wrote that Harry's making the same mistake as Diana did, and it's going to cost him.
What's that mean? What is that supposed to mean? For the same reason why, you know, one of the press, you know, very early on, I think months ago, talk about, you know, the brothers will get together once of their wife, you know, die. What does that mean? And so for me, I am so scared right now. I am so scared right now because I know what they just say, what they just talk about is going to change the monarchy forever. It's going to change how the world view and see the monarchy. They're going to be watching every step, everything that they do, because now we have another little girl that is about to come in. Because everything that they told us, everything that they say, it was not true. That it was Meghan and Harry that decided that, you know, did not want her child to have a title, whatever so have you. And it wasn't true. The fact is that, you know what, they were parading as if, like, you know what, so Meghan was this woman that, you know what, who needed its security, and they were going to take security away, they're going to take, when she never had the security to begin with. They trashed this woman for not parade her baby in front of a stage of paparazzi. And yet, they was not even willing to give her security. What if she had got shot there? I don't know how could these people now today that who sold us that, you know what, well, this is going to be reformed, this is going to be sort of like the new monarchy. Oh my God, they are so forward thinking and they are meeting the time finally, and it was all a lie.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that also comes through loud and clear, is that they definitely had a lot of credibility in terms of just listening to them talk about it. You believed them. You believed what they were saying. I mean, that's the thing people say about every story, is there's always the two sides, and then the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. But at the end of the day, the difference between what you hear, what you've read in tabloids, and what we just heard Meghan and Harry say, they definitely had a lot of credibility. You definitely seemed like they were someone you could believe.
But what kind of society are we in right now? If we cannot trust the press, if we cannot trust the media, where are we?
Well, just to that end, I mean, just being Americans, I think we can all understand and relate to not being able to trust the press. I don't think the press is a great bastion of truth anymore. And it's funny that you say that, because what I'm sitting here thinking about is, you know, how much of this is the tail wagging the dog, right? Because at the end of the day, what they had mentioned, and something that I think was revelatory for me anyway, because again, I'm similar to George over there, where I just don't, I'm not that into it. So it's just a question of, I'm just naive about it. But, how much the press actually controls the royals versus, vice versa, right? I mean, it's their institution is perpetuated and supported and in some ways propelled by the press, and they know it. So that being the case, then, they have to supplant themselves to what the press says. They have to supplicate. And if they have to do that, then, if the press wants a narrative and wants a story, and where they think they're going to get, the best reaction, the best subscribers, the most likes and views, and where they're going to make their money is creating this tension. And if they see Meghan as being divisive, and again, it is Murdoch own, right? I mean, this is a similar playbook that we have here. So that's what they're doing. They're playing culture wars. And it seems like a deal was struck that says that, okay, well, royal family, we're going to go do this. And that's just what's going to make our money, and you're just going to take it. And they just took it.
But they went after her when she did not do anything wrong. I don't really get that. And the thing is that, the whole world is watching. And now we have, 62 different countries that's going to listen and hearing this interview. So how are you representing the Commonwealth that who has sort of, as Meghan says, that, represent all these black people?
Well, they're just going to be on the wrong side of history at the end of the day. But I feel they may not have thought they had a choice. I mean, not to say that the royal family doesn't have its own fair share of racial issues, because, I've heard in the past that there's been many a part of the royal family who's taken a pot shot at Meghan themselves. But it's one thing to take a pot shot and, have your own opinion. It's another to perpetuate it and lie and harass and perpetuate harm on someone. And I think that's what the press was doing. The press had their own agenda that they were pushing, and the Crown did nothing about it.
How sad that was when she's saying, sort of, look, I understand you guys are not going to protect me. You're not going to protect my baby, but please protect my husband because of the amount of threat they have on their lives.
Yeah, I think that was just a lever for them to get back.
And then for them to say no.
Yeah, I think.
To say no. This is the sort of the queen grandchild.
Yeah, I think they were using it as a wedge to get them back into the family. I think they were using that as a tool to just make sure to get them to do what they wanted, because they knew they needed it. And so they were like, okay, well, we're just going to completely cut you off because, we want you to do our bidding, and we don't think that you'll be able to support yourself. And so, you know what? You're going to have to come back crying to grandma. And they were like, no.
But the problem was, it was just Harry. They didn't want Meghan and her baby. Because again, even when she was there, they said, we're not covering you. Supposedly they don't have money. Are you serious right now? That they don't have money to cover her security? And then the press been letting us know, thinking that, somehow they have all this security and they're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on them? Well, not thousands, actually hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, I think it's those revelations also that make me not go perhaps as far as you have, Charles, in terms of the balance of power with the media. It does seem like a symbiosis, but I also, for it to be to have been done at the extent that it's been done and the nature of it, seems like there's more calculation than it just being, how do we sell more, get more circulation, get more viewership, sell more ads. It seems like there's additional objectives within how it's been done. And then when you tie that with the decisions about not giving them security or not giving Archie a title, it's like, well, it just kind of starts to build a bigger picture of what is the end goal that they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I think what they wanted, I think what the press wanted was money. And I think that, by being divisive, and that's enabling them to do that, and obviously, increase, their overall size of prize in the marketplace, just generally, just the outweighing and, just the amount of attention that they can get. So I think that's one thing. And then, to your point, I think that obviously the royal family in and of itself and how they behaved, I think what they did was, clearly there was an agenda behind that as well. And, could they have been, clearly they were aligned. The question is, was it done intentionally? And was it something that they had, an even further agenda or not? That's something that, we can only speculate on.
This is heavy. This is heavy, guys. I am going to make this podcast really short. I can't wait to hear tomorrow that what they're going to say, how they're going to sort of, try to turn this, because I know something is just changed, and it's changed forever. I think people are going to look at the monarchy now in a very different way. And I think that, what, I am worried, I am concerned for their safety. I don't know what we can do and what we should do. I am scared. I have so much to say, but I need some time to process it all, because it was heavy. It was very heavy. So I thank you guys so much for joining me again for this short podcast. And hopefully that, we can gather again when we have a chance to dissect this, and perhaps maybe watch again for a second time, because from my understanding is that, there is more tomorrow morning and CBS, because they didn't have time to put it all together. So hopefully we can sort of really diving in. So I thank you guys again. This is very emotional for me. Because I know these people. There's a lot that I can say that, that I want to say that I cannot say right now, but stay with me. I hope you guys subscribe and share. And yeah, good night.